Hello, everyone, and welcome to TVCaptive.com presents ASOTV podcast for Pretty Little Liars, Season 4, Episode 18, Hot for Teacher. I'm your host, Dom. With me, I have my co-host, Omikins. Are you hot for teacher?
No.
No?
No.
Who's your teacher?
Nobody.
Senora Alonza.
Who?
That's the Spanish teacher on Impractical Jokers. That was their 8th grade Spanish teacher,
Gotcha.
some bullshit like that. I don't even know. Don't ask me why I remember that. No, really, don't ask me.
I'm not asking.
Just don't. Chill out. Don't ask. So how are you tonight?
I'll be the teacher.
Oh, so you're hot for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So how are you tonight, teacher?
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So nobody gave you an apple today?
No.
Because the apple a day keeps the teacher away?
No.
No?
I
That's
don't-
the doctor.
The doctor.
Yeah. Same thing. I've heard it both ways. So, would you...
I don't know about this apple giving to teachers and things, because I used to give my teachers coffee mugs
Really? Why would you do that?
because they needed it.
They needed it. What
Yeah.
kind of coffee mugs were they? Like, did you beat them over the head with the coffee mugs? Did they come
No,
pre-filled
they'd
with
be-
coffee? Did you splash the
Exactly.
coffee in their face?
Exactly. They'd be pre-filled with coffee because teachers needed that shit to get through the day because us kids were a pain in the ass.
Well, that's awful considerate of you. I probably would have ended up throwing the coffee at half of my teachers. Or beating them with the mugs.
I was kind of a teacher's pet.
Really? The only present I ever gave my teachers was my grace.
Mm-hmm.
Spitballs. Throwing things at them when their back was turned to the blackboard. You know, the usual love.
Right. Love. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And they would return the love by giving me detentions and suspensions and...
Tell you to get the hell out of their class so they don't have to deal with you anymore, so you can be like, yay, I'm not in class anymore.
Yeah, I got thrown out of a class. Completely thrown out. By don't come back for the rest of the year kind of thrown out.
Hmm. I got that.
I was told to go down to the principal's office. But I didn't do that. Because that just so happened to be the period where we had 3 lunches. You know, they broke it up, lunch A, B, C. I just went and had 3 lunches for the rest of the year. And then when I realized that I needed a grade to be able to graduate, I went back to the teacher and got to take the final exam. And whatever grade I got in the final exam was what I got for my final grade.
Did you ace it?
I did. So
Good.
It was amazing. Yeah, so kids watching this at home, don't go to class.
Just ace the final exam, you'll be fine.
It probably wouldn't work out for everybody. You gotta smooth talk your way out of that one. But anyway, getting back to Pretty Little Liars, what did you think of this episode?
It was very interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was so interesting about it? Everything?
Everything. I mean, the whole
Such the
Ezra
cop-out
deal.
answer.
It
The
is
Ezra deal? What deal do we have with Ezra? I didn't cut any deals with Ezra. I wish I did.
Ezra and his lair beneath his cabin with the whole keeping Arya away from the rest of everything, and Emily and Hannah and Spencer
Mhm.
getting all
Yeah.
mean about it, and yeah, and then at the end, we'll just leave it at that point.
Yeah. So, pretty much right away in this episode, they're still setting up Hannah and Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting kind of close. Detective Holbrook.
Holbrook.
What is Holbrook trying to do with my future ex-girlfriend?
trying to get in her pants before you do.
What? How do you know I'm not A?
Has A been in Hannah's pants?
Maybe he's trying.
It's been in her mouth.
Just saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know where get the impression that I could possibly be A. You no? The theory never crossed your mind?
No.
No. What is Hannah's deal though? She seems like she's following too closely in her mother's footsteps. Wasn't it season? Was it this past season? No, it was season 1. I want to say. When Hannah was getting into trouble, when she stole the sunglasses and the purse and all that from the department store, and
Yes.
Wilden, Detective Wilden, Hannah's mother rather started sleeping with Detective Wilden, to try to help get Hannah off for charges and stuff like that. So now Hannah seems to be getting really close to Detective Holbrook for kind of, but not really, the same kind of reasons. It has to do with law enforcement work.
I don't think she's intentionally getting close to him because, she wants, for romantic reasons, to get her way. I think it's just happening. And I think at one point, she's actually going to be thinking about actually wanting to be close to him in that way. Something's going to happen, and he's going to be just as bad as Wilden was, and Hannah's going to be all weepy about it.
Yeah. He's pulling the classic move that he's going to be there when she breaks and pick up the pieces. He's stealing the move right out of my playbook. Except I've never intentionally sabotaged anything.
Are you sure about that?
I plead the fifth. So, Spencer is very much addicted to Ritalin or whatever she's on.
No idea.
I believe it has the symptoms of Ritalin to me. She's now buying it off of a girl in school. Her work is slacking, and I love the little double entendre scene we had with Spencer and Ezra, where he's like, "Your work is slacking. What, you didn't think I'd know what you were up to?" And she's like freaking out. He's like, "You practically lifted an entire paragraph from Wikipedia." So Spencer's also been, on the hot tails of Ezra the whole time. So like it was that whole, what does he mean by this? And she was like dumbfounded for a second. She didn't know like how to react to that. But she's also lying to the girls and everything. Like this is starting to shape up to be a serious problem. Even Emily back in what was that, season 3?
Yeah.
When she was on her mother's medication, it wasn't nearly as bad as this. Like, Spencer's bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think Emily had another run-in with medication, season 2, I want to say.
was it season 2? Maybe it was actually season 1.
Maybe it was season 1.
I
don't know.
believe it was season 1. I'm almost
Yeah.
positive it was season 1, actually, no. It was, was it for the same reason, trying to stay awake and stuff, or...
Yes, I was trying to stay awake because she was afraid that A was going to come get her at nighttime.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I don't know, but she does not seem like she was ever as bad as Spencer was. She literally hasn't slept.
Yeah, she really hasn't,
She's
and it's
lying
been...
to the girls. She's saying that she walked to the library. Hannah hears the grandfather clock, like the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do you see this going with Spencer? Do you think she's going to end up getting checked into rehab? Do you think she's going to be hospitalized?
Rehab again, huh?
I mean, maybe she's trying to work her way back into Radley. Maybe that's her plan all along.
Maybe. I mean, that would seem like an A move. Because it's not apparent. And then she's like, oh, I actually got what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Normally we don't jump to the very end of the show at this point, but I do have to, since we're on the topic of this, the very end final scene, we saw A in his lair. He has a bunch of prescription forms.
Yeah.
And they clearly say Rin's name on them.
Yeah.
There is prescription forms. Do you think this is going to be a gift to Spencer from A?
It's not going to be a gift. It's not going to be free.
So
she's going to make some sort of deal with A. And it wouldn't be the first time one of the girls has done that.
So we know Ren's been up to some shady shit. We don't know to what degree he's involved.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think he's willingly giving these prescriptions up, or do you think he's being blackmailed as well?
Blackmail thing, it seems like something common that A would do to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going with blackmail theory? You don't think Ren's willingly in on this?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, because there's a whole tie-in with the Hastings, and isn't Ren seeing Melissa again?
Well, we really haven't seen much of Ren. We have heard a little bit, but not enough information to conclude anything to say that he's being forced or if he's willingly doing this. We have no idea.
Yeah, I think he's back with Melissa though, if I remember correctly. So, I don't know. Should be interesting. So we get to see some more Jesse, the guidance counselor, and Ezra notices Arya walking out of the guidance counselor's office. He does not seem too pleased. I know I've been going on record many times saying Ezra is not A. Okay? Mm-hmm. But I have to ask, do you think Jesse is A's next target?
I don't know. All I know is that Ezra is not impressed with Arya being that she's gone to see Jesse. So it is possible that Jesse is Ezra's next target. Kind of jealous boyfriend deal.
I mean, we haven't seen anything from Jake in a few episodes now.
We haven't.
Last time we saw him, he kickboxed a kitchen knife set.
Yeah.
So.
He knows something's up, so he might be laying low right now.
Arya hasn't heard anything about that. That's something you go to the hospital for. Like, you don't just put a Band-Aid on that and disappear for a while. You go to the hospital because you kickbox a knife not knowingly, and it wasn't one knife, it was 4. At least a minimum of 4 knives. Unknowingly, that's going to have some kind of nerve damage that could puncture some main veins and muscles, and like that has to be medically treated. You cannot just put Neosporin, wrap it in a Band-Aid, and walk it off. No pun intended. But yeah, I don't know. So Arya apparently doesn't know anything about Jake.
No.
And it's kind of past the point now where she would connect the fact that Ezra stepped out and Jake was hurt and then Ezra came back. Like, the timeline is it's too far gone now to piece that all together.
Even if they did piece it together, I don't think Arya would. She's kind of naive when it comes to Ezra.
Yeah. Well, Ezra, on the other hand, has definitely been watching our podcast.
Has he?
He has to be, because, I mean, one of my biggest complaints with Ezra and the whole cabin thing was that he left the trap door out in the open, right? And next thing we come up, all of a sudden, here's a rug.
There's a rug over it. He took your advice.
He was 100% listening, watching this podcast.
Definitely.
So he sends Arya out. Well, he doesn't send her out. He tricks her into volunteering to go out to get some chickpeas. Chickpeas. I don't like chickpeas. What is your take on chickpeas? Because that's what everybody's dying to know right now. What is your take on chickpeas?
I don't think I've actually had them.
Perfect. You don't like them either. So we finally get to see what was under the floorboards, and it was not the Telltale Heart. It was, in fact, Ezra's Batcave.
His man cave.
Yes. So in Ezra's man cave, we find the Bat computer, and it's passworded. But what I thought was interesting was only the main screen was passworded, not the two side ones that still had pictures on them at the time of him walking down there. So that kind of defeated the purpose, because anything he dragged off to the side screens were still 100% visible. But that's neither here nor there. But he puts his password in. He gets an email that has about 12 to 15 attachments on it. And it's pictures of what all the other girls, excluding Arya, are up to. So, if we're going to go with the theory that Ezra's A, which I still do not believe is the case, I'm still staying very adamant to this. It does not look good for me. But I'm holding my ground, and I'm saying Ezra is not A. There's pictures of Allison down there. There's everything that is going against me right now, but I'm standing firm. I'm sticking to my story. Ezra is not A. But what is he doing with all these pictures of the girls? Like, he's reviewing them for some reason. He wants to know what they're up to. He's keeping tabs on them for some reason. But let's say he's not A.
Okay.
What would that reason be?
Well, the girls are digging to find Allison, and if he's working with Allison to make sure she doesn't get found out, to protect her from A, these girls are causing big problems for him. So he's probably monitoring them so he can prevent them from the hints or, the little leads that they're going to get to find Allison.
Mm-hmm. What if he's not working with Allison, but he's still not A?
Then he's a fucking pervert.
Ooh, wow. See, I don't know. Maybe he is in love with Allison.
He's in love with all the girls?
No, he's in love with Allison, and he's keeping tabs on the girls because they know where, or he thinks that they know where Allison is, and he got close to Arya for the same reason. I don't know. I know that theory has a lot of holes in it, but I still don't think he's A. I don't. I'm sticking to that. I don't care if Ezra comes out and says to Arya, "I'm A." I'm not going to believe it. And then in 3 seasons later, when they revealed that he was not A and he was pretending to be A for whatever reason, I will be very adamantly rubbing it in everybody's face, saying I was right, because all the odds are stacked against him right now. They're stacked against my theory as well.
So, this goes along the lines of your Supreme theory as well. Yeah, this is not looking good for you at all. At all. You are going down a rocky road, friend.
My Supreme theory we knew from the start was not happening, but it was wishful thinking. This is not wishful thinking here. This I am very adamantly standing against. You knew my choice for Supreme. I'm not saying what it is because there may be people who have not watched American Horror Story.
That's why I didn't say anything.
Yes, I know. So, we know who I wanted it to be. We knew it was not going to be, and I knew that deep down. That doesn't mean that I didn't want it to be. So, you knew that was a joke. This is not a joke. I'm very, very firmly, adamantly stating Ezra is not A. I 100% believe that. And until this series is completely over, even if he says I am A, I am still saying he's not.
I mean, Mona said she was A and she wasn't.
Right. Well, she was A. She was one of the A's. She was sending text messages to the girls signed A, so she technically was A. She was one of the A's.
Well,
there could be multiple A's, but I don't think Ezra is any A.
I don't know. It's more plausible for him to be an A minion than nothing.
I don't think he's involved with A at all. I don't. I don't know. But evidence is not looking good. He's got surveillance at his apartment. What does he have that surveillance for? You're frozen.
We discussed it. I know I'm frozen. I see myself frozen. There, I'm unfrozen.
Yeah. The surveillance at his apartment. We didn't discuss that. That's something brand new this episode. He's got surveillance cameras in the ventilation outside of his apartment.
He's very paranoid.
He is. I mean, he's sitting there. He's got cameras in the cabin that we didn't know about, right? He's watching Arya sleep. He's keeping tabs to see if she's awake, whatever. He was out in the car. He was up to some shady whatever. He's sitting there on his iPad, like, tabbing through different camera views of what's going on in his apartment, what's going on in the cabin. Like, he's going back and forth. And, I don't know, things are just not looking good for my theory. They're not. But the one bright side is we know he's not the photographer.
Yeah.
So if he received this email while he's away at the cabin, somebody's sending him these photos. Who do you think could possibly be the photographer?
Cece.
You think Cece Drake is the photographer? She's so wanted.
No.
Is she
She's
able to
still...
show her face in Rosewood?
No one's seen her, but no one saw her when she was, running around being shifty.
Yeah, but her face is plastered on every wanted poster, every news channel, probably every telephone pole. She wouldn't be able to walk into the city without somebody noticing her. Not just the girls where she may be able to hide from 5 or 6 people in the town. She literally would have to hide from the entire town. And didn't they last say they saw her on a train in, like, Maryland or something?
Yes.
So I don't think it's her.
But, I mean, the same thing can go for Allison. I mean, her face was plastered in around Rosewood and more. And she was still running around. And I'm sure people saw her face. It's, not unthinkable.
Was Allison in Rosewood?
She has been in Rosewood here and there. She's been in Ravenswood. She's been in Georgia. She's been all over.
She's been in Ravenswood.
Place.
Ravenswood she has a better chance of hiding in because Ravenswood was not plastered with her face everywhere. So she's got a better chance of being anonymous in Ravenswood. She was at the airport, well, not the airport, but the landing site wherever that hotel burned down or whatever.
She was also in Hannah's room after Mona hit her with her car in the hospital room. She's been at Emily's bedside.
That was a dream. We don't know for sure that was a thing.
She did confirm that it was her.
When?
I'm pretty sure it was during the meeting with Emily, or Shauna told Emily or something like that. I believe it's been confirmed.
I don't remember that. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
But she has been in Rosewood. Here and there. Little bits. Little times. I mean, she's been places where people can see her face. And she's been plastered. Her face missing. She was missing forever. And then she was in the confirmed dead. So her face has been everywhere. More than CC.
Yep. Then we had Shauna and Emily. They're kind of getting close, right?
I don't know.
They're sharing secrets. Shauna's helping Emily. Emily's helping Shauna. Shauna goes over to Emily's house. They're hanging out in Emily's room. Do you think Paige is going to get wind of this? We haven't heard from Paige in a few episodes now.
I don't care about Paige.
Well, I know that, but do you think this is going to get Paige upset? Because didn't they even mention that Paige and Shauna had a thing going at summer camp or something like that?
Yeah.
So now if Paige gets wind that Emily's hanging out with Shauna and Paige is potentially going off to another school, she's going to think Emily moved on, regardless of whatever is actually happening. I think that's something that's going to cross her mind. I think that's something that's going to cause conflict the closer Emily and Shauna get.
I'm okay with that, because the more conflict that is involved around Paige means the farther away she'll be from Emily, and I won't have to think about her ever being in this series again.
Unless Paige is A.
Then they'll find her out real quick.
Maybe. So Emily goes off on an errand into the De Laurentiis' house, where upon getting in there and this whole thing, right at the beginning of the episode, when they're kind of setting this up between Allison and Shauna, Allison is on the phone with Shauna, And they're talking about, does she know? No, she doesn't know yet. They were clearly talking about Mrs. De Laurentiis, even though they didn't say it. So we now have confirmation that Mrs. De Laurentiis does not know Allison is alive. So it was something that we were kind of going back and forth with, whether or not she knew. You like, I think she would know. She doesn't. Whether her brother knew, half brother. Is it her brother?
Half brother.
Half brother? No, it's her brother. Full brother.
Jason?
Yeah.
No. Be her half brother. Same mom, different dad.
Yes, you're right. So, yeah, I don't know. So, Jason may know, but Mrs. De Laurentiis definitely doesn't know. Anyway, so Emily sneaks in, gives a different agenda to Mrs. De Laurentiis, and gets the poster that Allison had requested for Shauna to get. So Shauna basically entrusted Emily to do this for her. And behind the poster was $5,000 and a bunch of contact information, some email addresses and names and stuff like that. So just before Emily and Shauna were going to meet up to make the transaction to be able to get this to Allison, Shauna's attacked. And she ends up, right around the time she's attacked, this is when we see Ezra in his car.
Yeah.
And this is when he's looking at the footage of Arya and Spencer. And things are not boding well for my theory. They're not. They're still stacked against me at this point. I'm going to admit it. They're stacked against me, but I'm not saying it's not. But do you think Ezra was the one that attacked Shauna?
I don't know. I mean, it is possible that two powerhouses are acting as A right now. Ezra being one of them, and we don't know who the other one would be, but I mean, it's possible Ezra's the one passing on orders, saying, you go take care of Shauna. I'm gonna, keep an eye on the girl here that's lying in my bed naked.
I don't think Ezra's in on it. I don't. Stop calling him A. I don't like it. There's definitely
Ezra?
some shady shit going on with Ezra, but he's not A. I'm convinced.
He's a really OCD
I don't know.
creep? I don't
All
know.
of a sudden, he's getting really, evil. That's the best way to put it.
I don't know. Evil seems to do well with
he's
our
super shady
podcast.
right now.
He's super shady.
He's slim shady.
Stand up, boy.
Will the real Ezra Fitz please stand up?
But is she Spencer looked up Fitzgerald
Ooh,
and
yeah, why is he going under his old alias?
I don't know. I don't even think that's his is that his alias?
Yeah, his family, his mother.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be an alias then, because if it's his real name.
Well, he legally changed it to Fitz. Mm-hmm. So, kind of an alias. An alias is another name.
Did he truly, legally change it? Or did he just say that?
I believe he did.
Is there documentation, an episode that proves that he has the legal documents?
No, but to be assigned a teacher, I believe you would have to have the correct paperwork to have that be officially recorded as your name.
And we know that...
Because schools definitely do detailed background checks on all their staff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
if he had shady shit going on under the name Fitzgerald, and he legally changed it, all that information does not carry over with him, so it's a good way to hide that information. So, yeah, I believe he legally changed it.
I don't know. I mean, he can he could legally change it that way, but I mean, if he really wanted to, I mean, look at all the stuff he has in his basement, all the things that he has access to. He could make himself a life.
He's not A.
I didn't say he was A. I'm just saying he's very, very, very talented, and he can make himself a life.
Yeah. He could. I guess he could. But nonetheless, Shauna ends up waking up in the car. She's scared to death.
I'd be scared to death.
She briefly talks to Allison on the phone, and basically, instead of just saying Emily has the money, she just doesn't answer her, which I thought was a little rude. And she leaves town. There's a big sign that says, don't ever come back.
Ever come back.
Yeah.
She did kind of smush up her phone, just in case her call was being traced or listened in on. So that's probably why she didn't say, oh, Emily has the money, because then whoever's listening is going to be like, oh, Emily?
Yeah, this is true.
She's easy to get to. I'm going to go rough her up a bit and take the money.
So do you think she completely abandoned Allie, or do you think she just needs to clear her head and let Allison know she's being precautious?
I think Allison already knows that something is up.
Well, Allison got on a bus.
Yeah, that's the only reason why she would just leave and be like, well, where's my freaking money, bitch?
She basically put all the money she had left into that bus ticket. Mm-hmm. So she got on a bus. It definitely was not to Ravenswood, because we know what the Ravenswood buses look like, and they look like they came out of the 1950s.
Yes.
This was not a Ravenswood bus. So where do you think Allison is heading to?
Anywhere a regular Greyhound bus would go.
Do you think she's coming to Rosewood? Because I'm under the impression she's not in Rosewood.
I don't... Well, she's probably a few hours out of Rosewood. Couple hours, maybe. Because, Shauna had to get the money to her somehow. And Shauna's not going to spend 10 hours driving to her to give her money so she can get on a bus ticket and come back to Rosewood.
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
She knew the money was in Rosewood, and Shauna said she didn't have it. Maybe Allison thinks she didn't get it, so maybe Allison has to go back and get it herself. So that's why I think she's heading to Rosewood. Not necessarily knowing that Emily has it, but thinking it's still in the house.
There is that, and that she's going back to Rosewood. We do have a little snippet of a quote from next episode, and it is from Arya to Allison. So, there is a huge chance that Allison went back to Rosewood and got to see more than just, or, meet up with more than just Emily.
Yep. So, as we were talking about, the final scene where we see the prescription being written out to, it's not written out, it's just 2 stacks of medical prescriptions that says Rin's name on them. The thing that I noticed interesting about that is, number one, they did not show Ezra again, so it very leading to believe that was not Ezra. Number 2, that was clearly not Ezra's lair.
No.
There was one screen, the desk was completely different. It was not set up the same way. I believe the journal was visible there. It was on the desk open, if I'm not mistaken. So this is not Ezra.
No.
We have not seen Ezra with the journal. So I'm pretty sure that those 2 people we're seeing, whatever Ezra's up to and whatever this cloaked figure, hooded figure is up to, they don't have the same agenda. Or maybe they do have the same agenda, but they're not working together. Maybe Ezra is looking for Allison for a completely different reason.
I don't know.
And all the precaution that he has is maybe he's protecting the girls. Because he knows something shady's up. So he knows what happened with Allison, and he doesn't want the girls to be next. Who knows? I don't know. But before we go into next week's episode, Ravenswood this week was really interesting.
Oh, really?
Really interesting. We had a guest star from Pretty Little Liars as a main occurrence. It was the whole episode was pretty much plot-centric around them. Would you like to guess which character this could be? Because I know you don't watch it. Which character?
Not Mona. No, not Mona. I don't know. I really don't know.
Really?
Maybe it's not Toby. Not Toby.
Nope, it
Is
was
it
not Toby.
that other kid? Lucas.
It was not Lucas.
I don't know then. Oh,
Hannah.
was it Hannah?
It
What
was
the fuck
Hannah.
was she doing in Ravenswood?
She confronted Caleb. Um, she basically went there to start a fight with Miranda. And
And
this is when
that's like
Caleb
well.
this is when Caleb had to tell Hannah the truth that Miranda was dead. She kind of took it bad because she was all rearing to go looking for a fight, and then she felt really bad.
I feel bad.
Then when Caleb said that her spirit was still here and he was trying to help her find peace and finish her unfinished business, Hannah kind of went off the handle a little bit. She thought Caleb was lying to her. She stormed out, and there was this big whole thing, whatever. It ended up coming around to the Hannah went into the park. She met up with Caleb again. They had a discussion, and the little demon girl in the red jacket ended up showing up and was trying to lure Hannah away and all this, and Caleb ends up running after her, and like they escaped. And I believe the little I don't I want to say the little red girl, his name is Abaddon, but I don't believe that's true. I think that's somebody else. But I think it's the guy that they keep seeing in their dreams. I think his name is Abaddon. One of the two of them. I think it's the guy, if I'm not mistaken. But so Hannah eventually comes around and says it's hard to believe, but she trusts Caleb more or less. And they kissed. And Hannah went back. So this was kind of a day trip for Hannah. She was on the phone with one of the girls, or maybe her mother or something. I wasn't too clear on who she was talking to, but she said I believe she said tell Spencer, I'm somewhere, I forget what her excuse was, and I'll be back tomorrow. So this is definitely a day trip kind of deal that she made. So this easily falls in between Pretty Little Liars. So I believe this was real time actually happening. But during this, like after this episode aired, she went there, even though she didn't really mention like she had any intentions, and she was clearly keeping it from the other girls. And she told Caleb that as well. Caleb said not to mention this to the other girls, and she said, "We know how to keep secrets." So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splurt them out 3 episodes later.
Right.
Great way to keep secrets.
Right. So I don't know. This was definitely one of the better Ravenswood episodes that I had seen. It was kind of meshing that whole. Here's the reality. Hannah was the reality portion of it with all this supernatural stuff going on and how ridiculous it sounds and looks to I don't know, a person coming in, and that's kind of the suspension of disbelief that we had in the first few episodes of Ravenswood. Like, this is just a little too far off the handle right now. But Ravenswood has kind of explained a little bit more. They've come around, and I do believe the show has gotten a lot better, and I'm actually enjoying the show so much right now. So if you guys stop watching after the first like 4 episodes, come back, give it a chance. It's a good show again. It's what I wanted it to be originally. I think it just took a little while to get there. Yeah, basically Hannah's she's understanding of it. It doesn't sound like they're back together by any means right now. But yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
On Ravenswood?
On Hannah and Caleb.
I'm happy for Hannah and Caleb, but I honestly don't think Hannah's gonna not screw around on Caleb in the Pretty Little Liars universe. I mean, you just said they're not together,
Right.
back together. So I think Hannah's just gonna start working around, doing her thing.
Yep.
Maybe she will pull one of her mummy's deals and get with the authorities to get what she wants.
She very well could.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Do you think Ravenswood is something you may go back at some point and give another chance to, or are you just done with Ravenswood?
Oh no, I will. I mean, I will go back and watch it, but like not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Maybe when all of our other shows decide to, end for the season, I'll go back and find a way to watch Ravenswood again. But
Yeah. I definitely think it's worth a second chance. The last, 3 episodes have been really good, so.
okay.
Yep. I don't know. I think that about wraps it up. You have any other final thoughts?
Not really.
No.
I just no. I'm just actually really excited for next episode.
Oh, we didn't even talk about next episode.
No,
Wow.
we didn't.
I'm like, do we have anything else? Pfft. Yeah. Okay, so next episode is called Shadow Play. And my browser froze, so I don't have a synopsis right now. That is great. Warning, plugin, crash. Things and stuff. Okay, here we go. So it says Spencer's numerous sleepless nights with the help of prescription pills start to take a toll on her as her hunt for Allie and much needed answers continues. As she pores over newly acquired information, her world view takes a black and white turn. Now teleported into the world of 1940s film noir, Spencer tries to come up with the answers she and her friends have been desperately looking for. But in this world of fedora hats, switchboards, and 15-cent coffee, can Spencer finally put all the pieces together that lay in front of her? So you said you were really excited for this episode.
Now that I all I saw was the quote, and basically it played in my head that Arya was gonna just rip on Allie, and I was happy for that. I don't like Allie as a character. I don't. And I don't like Arya, but
who do you like more?
Arya.
Okay.
But I mean, now it seems a little ridiculous. It seems like, Spencer really does need to go back to Radley.
Yeah.
At this point, she's completely lost it.
Yeah, so I don't know, the film noir kind of thing, like the episode we're seeing, the picture that I'm looking at right now, which I will bring up for you guys in a moment, is it looks like an old black and white film movie, and it kind of it's interesting. It kind of has the take on like what Supernatural did, back with their Monster of the Week Dracula episode.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily know how this is going to work in the Pretty Little Liars universe. So this is the picture we're looking at right here. And clearly you could see Allison.
Mm-hmm.
You could see Spencer, Emily, Hannah, and Arya. And they're clearly dressed in what did we just say, the 1950s?
Something like that.
I don't even know what I just said. But they're clearly dressed like they are in the film. So this is going to be a weird kind of take on the episode. So do you think this is going to fall into Spencer's dream world? Like Spencer's hallucinating? Do you think that's how they're going to explain this this scene?
I think because of lack of sleep, she's hallucinating. Unless she actually falls asleep. Then it's like almost coma sleep. Then yes, a dream like this would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's still awake, it's definitely a hallucination. It seems crazy enough to be one.
Yeah. So with Arya back, even if this is a hallucination from Spencer, it's to say that Arya has made it back from the cabin. It's kind of safe to say, because unless she's hallucinating the fact that these people are even there in general,
yeah.
We don't know. But
we don't know.
The quote that you were excited for, Arya says to Allison, "I think I liked you better when you were dead."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So we don't know if this whole episode is going to be in black and white. I don't believe it is. I think scenes of it may. But there was a scene that was on the Facebook page, the Pretty Little Liars Facebook page. I shared it with Umi, and it disappeared right after I shared it.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it.
This video I shared was before the episode that currently aired. I watched it. I watched the scene maybe 4 or 5 times because it was such a good scene. And it's not really spoiler-ish. So it's just a scene with Ezra and Arya driving back in the car from the cabin. Ezra says to Arya, he says, like, what are you thinking? Like, what's on your mind? You know, just like a typical question like that. And she goes, you don't want to know. And he goes, try me. And she goes, I have a lot of homework to do, or something like that. And he says something about literature homework, which he's kind of joking that it's his assignment or whatever. And Arya goes, yeah, I think you're really going to like it. She goes, it started as something, and it turned into something else. And Ezra goes, well, how did that happen? And Arya goes, well, I started writing about the main character, but then I became more interested in the villain. And Ezra goes, well, in your story, does the villain win in the end? And Arya goes, I haven't quite figured that out yet. But sometimes the villains win. And Ezra just, like, noddingly goes, yeah, sometimes they do. And it's just this really, like, creepy, eerie scene, and Ezra just sounds more and more shady. Like, I love the way they're portraying Ezra. I fucking love it. It's probably my favorite part of this show right now is any scene with Ezra acting weird. I love it. And when you finally get to see that scene, I hope it's in this episode, because it's definitely either this episode or the next episode. And they clearly aired the clip too soon, because it was not meant to be shown 4 days ago or whatever, whenever I linked it, when it wasn't even in this week's episode. Usually they'll give you a preview of the episode coming. So I think they slipped up on that one, and they deleted it pretty quickly. But I don't know. I really liked it. I was disappointed. I was looking forward to it all episode, and when Arya was talking to Ezra about, oh, I don't know if I want to stay here, I need to go home, I was like, oh, that scene's coming. I was getting excited, and then she ended up staying, and I was like, what? And then the episode ended. I'm like, where'd my scene go?
God damn it.
So then I was like, wait, that's why they deleted it, because it wasn't supposed to be seen yet. So, I don't know. Be on the lookout for that scene. It's awesome. And okay. I pretty much quoted the scene verbatim. I watched it 5 times, so.
Okay.
It was only like a 50-second clip, and it wasn't very hard to memorize all the lines.
So I can't miss it.
No.
I know exactly what's being said now.
It was such a good scene. Just like the way the dialogue, like Ezra, the way he was cued, how he was staring off, and just his weird, like, monotone, yet still inquisitive kind of voice. I don't know, it was great. It was great. It was an awesome scene. Ezra, whatever the actor's name is, I don't remember Ezra's name off the top of my head. He is a great actor. I did not like him in the earlier seasons. This season, like since the mid-season finale, he's shot up on like my list of actors right now. Like, I don't know. So, yeah, I think about does it, now that I've just gushed my man crush on Ezra. Umi, where are you from? Where are you from? Where can the people find you? I'm all flustered now.
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVenom24.
And Ezra Fitz, you can find me at Phenomenon on Twitter. PHENOMEDOM. That's kind of weird. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't follow me. I'll follow you. I'm kidding. But yeah, you can follow us both and others on tvcaptive.com, as well as ASOTV podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Gmail, and YouTube, right here where you're watching these. For some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, Coming up later this week, we have The Vampire Diaries and The Return of the Walking Dead.
Ah.
So, if you don't watch those shows, we'll see you guys next week. What was that face for?
That was my, have you seen the clip of AMC pranking New Yorkers about The Walking Dead?
Oh, I did. It was so good. If you
Oh
haven't
my
seen it,
God.
go watch it.
So good.